Chapter 1797, 10 Demon Gods. Bodaga, Vladimir and Oliev sat in a warm and comfortable office, toasting to celebrate Fremon's great gains in recent days. In the image projected on the big screen, Jusberg had successfully chopped down the huge mechanical life form, and its huge body collapsed like an embarrassed giant. "This is Fremon's victory." Vladimir said so. "What kind of mechanical civilization? I think it's nothing more than that." Oliev reminded him, "Don't forget the previous defeat in Karen City. We must always be vigilant." Vladimir took a puff of his cigar and said lightly, "We were not prepared that time. But now I think it's only because we were attacked that we feel that the enemy is too terrible." He pointed to the screen with his finger holding the cigar butt. "Just like at the beginning, we also thought that this super-large mechanical life form was unbreakable. But now, we can easily take it down." Bodaga nodded in agreement. "To put it bluntly, they are just some machines. Things that act according to fixed procedures can be easily defeated by making good use of human wisdom." The three people had a calm smile on their faces. And Jusberg also received the command from Bodaga. "Jusberg, go and take down the core of the super-large mechanical life form now. That thing is the most valuable." Jusberg smiled and replied, "Okay. But I think one may not be enough for research, so when will you assign me a new task? Otherwise, today." He put his double knives behind his back because he had just won a behemoth, which made him extremely confident. "I think I can fight again." Bodaga smiled and said, "Don't worry. If there is a good opportunity, it will definitely be left to you." The two talked and laughed, but in the picture, Jusberg's face suddenly changed. Bodaga saw this and asked strangely, "What's wrong?" Jusberg turned the picture. "Is this that kind of guy?" So, Bodaga's three-person team clearly saw everything from Jusberg's perspective. It was a dark humanoid creature. His height was only 3 to 4 meters, and he was covered with a black robe made of special material that did not reflect light. If you only look at this, he looked like a tall mutant. But what proved that he was not human, and might not even be a carbon-based creature, was his two metal arms, the strangely shaped blades connected to his arms, and the huge tail behind him that was as big as his entire body. Language seemed extremely thin at this time, and Jusberg and others could not describe it with any known creatures. This black humanoid creature appeared very abruptly, and Jusberg did not notice his existence from beginning to end. The huge tail rose from behind like a scorpion, hanging high behind him. The tip of the curved blade was as sharp as a crab's claw, and it was covered with black blades. But no matter the tail behind him or the strange blade in his hand, there were dark red gem-like substances inlaid in the middle. The moment he appeared, Bodhijia's face suddenly became almost bloodless. "Jusberg, get out of there." But it was too late. They only saw in the camera that the black humanoid creature raised the black blade in his hand and slashed over, and the dazzling red light became all in the picture. The picture from Jusberg turned black in an instant. The three-person team of Bodaga panicked. How could this happen? Why did those terrible guys suddenly appear? This shouldn't be. Why didn't the alien team from other countries meet him? Damn it, damn it. I hope Jusberg can defeat him. Are you crazy? Have you forgotten how terrible those guys are? Even when Morana faced them, he could only choose to escape. Bodaga clenched his fists, looking unwilling. He didn't understand why such a bad thing happened to Jusberg. That's one of the main forces of the Temple of the Gods. There is a bright future. If he died in battle, it would be an unbearable loss for Fremon's today. Oliev stood up and said decisively, "Send someone to Ordo City to support Jusberg immediately." Vladimir crossed his arms and said solemnly, "But who should we send? You know how terrible those guys are. Ordinary alien troops will just die in vain." Oliev stared and said, "Morana must stay to protect our safety. So let the alien troops from other countries go." Vladimir said in a deep voice, "From here to Ordo City, the fastest speed is 40 minutes. There is no time at all. No, there is an alien troop on a mission closest to them. It's Barada's team. You can let them rush over to support. But it will take them 20 minutes to get there at the fastest. 20 minutes is enough to end a battle." They have lost contact with Justberg, which means that the battle is very cruel. At this time, Bodaga suddenly thought of someone in his mind. Only he can rush to the battlefield and rescue Justberg at this time. Let Hun Dun from Huashu Country pass. He is a space alien and can reach Ordo City in the shortest time. Time waits for no one. He immediately dialed Zhang Yi's communication channel. Zhang Yi saw that it was Bodaka, and he couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. As the saying goes, no one comes to the temple for no reason. Now that he and Bodaka have a bad relationship, this guy must have something bad to do with him. But Zhang Yi still connected the call. Mr. Bodaka, what's the matter? Before Zhang Yi finished speaking, he was interrupted by Bodaka anxiously. Mr. Hun Dun, there is a very urgent task for you to do. Please leave immediately. Seeing Bodaka so anxious, Zhang Yi was stunned for a moment, and then the corners of his mouth rose. Oh, I didn't expect that after such a long time, Mr. Bodaka remembered us. I just don't know what kind of task it is. I'm afraid if it's a good thing, it won't fall on our heads so easily. Zhang Yi leaned on the sofa, his tone extremely lazy. Bodaka was extremely anxious at this time, and Zhang Yi's attitude made him even more angry. But he had to hold back, because now they urgently needed Zhang Yi's help. He forced a smile and said, Lord Chaos, I apologize if I offended you before. But now our alien troops are in danger during the mission. I hope you can go and support them quickly. Facing the attack of mechanical civilization, we humans must unite and put aside the past, okay? Zhang Yi heard that Bodaka was so polite and realized that something was wrong. If it weren't for the extremely urgent situation, the powerful aliens from various countries that Freemans had gathered now could easily solve it. Therefore, the crisis they are facing now must be very tricky. And it is precisely because Bodaka has not arranged combat missions for Zhang Yi and his team that the only powerful top combat team in Samran City is Zhang Yi and his team. Zhang Yi raised his eyebrows. You are anxious, but I am not. He frowned slightly and said in a somewhat awkward tone, Mr. Bodaka, in principle, we are all allies. If you are in trouble, I will definitely help you. He changed the subject, but we have not received any combat missions during this period. Doesn't this just mean that you think that our strength is not enough to undertake a combat mission? So, I think for this matter you should go to the alien teams in other countries. After all, they are more powerful and have experience. Bodaka and the other 3 people in the team were almost angry. They certainly understood that Zhang Yi was retaliating for their previous actions. But at the moment, they really have no better choice. Mr. Chaos. Bodaka's facial muscles were twisted. What conditions do you have? Just say it. Everyone is smart, time is tight, so don't fool around here. It's better to state the conditions directly to save time. However, the more anxious they are, the calmer Zhang Yi is. He only needs to think about it for a while, and he understands the whole thing. It must be that Fremon's important troops are in danger, and only he has the ability to quickly support. However, what kind of danger could make the alien troops of Fremon's, a world-class military power, unable to support other troops to rescue? In Zhang Yi's mind, the video data given to him by Alexei emerged. His expression became more solemn, staring at Bodaka and said, You must tell me truthfully what terrible enemy you encountered on the battlefield, which made it difficult for your troops to stop their attack. Otherwise, I will not take action without knowing the situation. Bodaka knew that. He could not hide it now, so he had to say, I will pass the information to you immediately. That is indeed a very difficult enemy to deal with. But with your ability, there will be no problem in bringing back Jusselberg. Zhang Yi's heart became even more uneasy. Originally thought that he was sent out to solve the crisis. Unexpectedly, Bodaka said that as long as Jusselberg was brought back, it would be fine. Doesn't it mean that he believes that even if Zhang Yi takes action, he will not be able to defeat the target enemy? Even other members of the Krufa army can give up? Zhang Yi's eyes sank slightly. He weighed the pros and cons again and again. Although he didn't have much information about the humanoid creatures of the mechanical civilization, he had also seen the video materials provided by Alexei. In his judgment, it was hard to say whether he could defeat them, but there was no problem in saving his life. Well, I can agree to help you save people. But I have a condition. Bodaka gritted his teeth. You say? Zhang Yi's mouth curled up. From now on, I will take 90% of the spoils on the battlefield of Fremons. Originally, Zhang Yi wanted to say 100%. But in that case, Fremons, who had no benefits to gain, would inevitably be constrained in terms of intelligence assistance. After all, no one would do something that had no benefits. Bodaka could not help but say, Chaos, your appetite is too big? How can it not be big? Zhang Yi stared at him. I have been on standby for a whole week, and now my stomach is empty. Besides, I have heard of the name of the moon god Jusberg. A black chariot-level alien with unlimited potential. I don't need to tell you how valuable he is to you, right? Bodaka wanted to say something else, but Zhang Yi said directly, we can continue to talk. Anyway, I have plenty of time. I just don't know if he has it. Bodaka was deflated at once. Without waiting for him to speak, Fra Kamir rushed over and shouted at the camera, we agree to your request. Go and rescue the people now. Zhang Yi didn't know this guy, but looked at Bodaka. I want him to say it. Bodaga's facial muscles were twisted. Finally, he gritted his teeth and said, okay, we promise you. But you must ensure that the people are brought back safely. Zhang Yi shrugged. Do your best. After ending the communication, Zhang Yi saw that Bodaka had sent all the information about the battle, including the specific coordinates of the battlefield, the troops they send out, and the pictures taken by the satellite in the local area before. The most critical piece of information is the information about those humanoid creatures that Fremons has been covering up. Zhang Yi opened the information. In the information, there appeared 10 figures that looked extremely strange and terrifying. They were almost humanoid, but they all had unique biological signs. But no matter how they looked, they all had mechanical structures on their bodies. So it was difficult to tell whether they were humanoid mechanical creatures or artificial people. The Fremons called them the 10 demon gods, which shows how deep the Fremons people's fear of them is. And they were numbered according to the classical numbers of Fremons. Due to the translation mechanism, it was converted into Chinese characters that Zhang Yi could understand, and it became the Heavenly Stems Cross. So the code names of these 10 demon gods are: the ability is unknown, the strength is unknown, but it can be determined that they are at least high-level black chariots, or even bishops. At the end of the intelligence, they kindly reminded the code name of the demon god that appeared in Ordo City this time. Zhang Yi's eyes flickered, but he quickly summoned everyone and briefly explained the situation. Yang Xinxin was not surprised at all. The real fighter of the mechanical civilization has finally appeared. They had long guessed that the mechanical army was just an engineer, not a combat soldier. When humans continue to provoke and destroy their engineering troops, the mechanical civilization will inevitably be angered and launch a direct attack on humans. I'm very interested in that thing. Zhang Yi's eyes flashed with a strange light. Those demon gods carry a lot of special energy bodies. Even in the core of a super-large mechanical life form, only a few red energy crystals can be found, but they are embedded in large quantities on the bodies of those demon gods. Zhang Yi's desire to hunt them burned like a flame. Dear viewers, please like and subscribe if not already. Thanks.